Hi, this is Liam from ScreenSpew. The podcast you're about to listen to contains bad language, so if that ain't your thing, you might as well just stop now. Thanks, and enjoy. Hi, and welcome back to ScreenSpew.
So, Coherence, just what it says on IMDb, is a 2013 horror mystery / sci-fi. The kind of short synopsis is: strange things begin to happen when a group of friends gather for a dinner party on an evening when a comet is passing overhead. So the sort of quirky thing about this film is the director, I think he filmed it at his own house for a budget of $50,000, which is basically peanuts for like a high concept sci-fi film. Mm-hmm. Also, it's mostly improvised, so the director and one actor knew what was going on, so they just kind of guided the conversation. So everyone else was just basically told to go with the flow.
Do you know what actor it was?
Yeah, it was
it's
Amir.
Amir, yeah. And
he's the director.
yeah,
he's the writer.
And
He's the writer, yeah.
oh wait, who's the director then? Is it the big guy?
I thought it was.
Maybe he's the writer and director, who knows?
No, I thought
He's definitely the guy who wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's one of those films that you can't really talk about without spoiling it.
So definitely watch it.
yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say
so-
watch it before you're listening.
Mhm.
Listen
It's
to it.
really short. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I would say watch it with someone else. It's quite fun to kind of try and figure out what's going on as you watch it. Think murder mystery without the murder, sort of.
mystery,
Like a problem-solving dinner party murder mystery without the murder.
sci-fi as well.
A
Sci-fi.
quantum realm dinner party.
Yeah.
That got out of hand.
What I really like about it, though, is the fact that they, have such a insane concept, but manage to make it work with, 7 or 8 actors, and in one location, in one night. So
What can you say it was about the film that, because obviously like you're the person who came to all of us with this film, like originally you hadn't seen it before, you'd seen it now. What was it originally that drew you into the film, sort of?
just the mystery of it. People told me not to look it up before I watched it, and to just get through the first 20 minutes. Can I just stress that the first 20 minutes you will think you're just watching, as you said, a documentary about dinner parties.
I'd messaged the group chat saying, "Is this a documentary about a dinner party? What the hell's this?"
It's a bit of a slog at the start, and I don't really feel like it's needed. It's not really like character development where you're like,
there's
I
a
really
few
need to
little
know about
parts I can see that were like I was talking to Liam about before, like where maybe it is like telling the audience, obviously, like when like she picks up the plant pot, being like, "Where'd you get this from?" And then later on, and she's like,
It's
alternate.
It's
spoilers.
It's exposition.
spoilers.
It's a lot of
There's also,
exposition in it.
I feel like it's kind of more of an experience than a film as well, because it's kind of like you watch it in, say, 2 hours. You're kind of going through it with them in real time.
Okay.
And then it's over, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck did I just watch?
The ketamine as well.
"What about
Oh,
it?"
yeah, like that was
It
actually
also just
mentioned.
sets up the relationships.
All right. I thought you were like, oh yeah, because like we watched it while we were on ketamine.
No.
And I was like, oh,
Did you guys
shit.
not?
Maybe that would have improved it. So what was it sort of? Okay, so you get past the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Alive or dead, I don't know. But you get past the first 20 minutes, and then what was it that sort of kept you watching it as a film?
Just that you're kind of discovering solving the mystery with the characters.
Yeah.
And they keep giving you and the characters little bits of information. It's kind of not dramatic irony in that way then, because we actually there's one bit where you sort of know something the other characters don't, but most of it you're just in the dark as much as they are.
Okay.
I feel like the film also, what it does so much is it keeps giving you little things that kind of set your brain off on a path to figure it out. So then you're in it to kind of see if you've got the right idea or not. And I feel like most of the time you probably will not, which is good.
I get you, because
Okay.
I was feeling like that when I was watching. I was like, try to figure out, right, this is gonna happen next. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. But then like another little thing happens. You're like, right, okay, wait, that throws that out the window.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Can we spoil it?
well, yeah, we'll
I
say
mean,
spoilers.
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just talking like a bit before we get into the full depth of the movie, because describing it is a task in itself.
Yeah. Okay, so you've gone through the first 20 minutes. You're sort of gripped by the moment where things start going weird.
Yeah, well, it's when you find out. So they have the power cut.
Yeah.
They go outside to try and. They
And
know
all their phones start cracking as well.
Oh, sorry. A little bit of information. There's a comet going above this dinner party, so the dinner party takes place before the comet hits the Earth.
And it's like said in this one storyline, it's like the comet is meant to cause weird things to happen.
Yeah.
People think that obviously it's like
but it hit a non sort of no one lived in the area that it hit before, but weird things happened to the few and far between people that were affected
Siberia
by it.
Or something, wasn't it, or something like that.
But yeah, so then they find out there's another house across the street that has power that is the exact same as their house. So they go and try and ask for help, and then strange things start to happen. It gets all very, very confusing.
Because they all come back and he's like, what happened? And no one's saying what happened, and I'm like, what fucking happened? What's stopping you from just telling them what fucking happened?
Where
and then
what
that's
happened?
why I started getting angry.
Got a sore head. Got a sore head.
That was the dinner. The scenes before that in the dinner were really, like, although they are a bit of a slog, they're not that entertaining, but they're actually really good.
You feel like it's livable. Like you feel
totally.
like it's improvised.
Improvised and the overlapping of conversation, and even the way it's filmed, like it's all handheld and a little bit kind of shaky, but it does feel like you can see it in the way characters are talking when they're kind of worried to speak up at the dinner table.
Yeah,
you see it in the camera. Crisps,
yeah.
Did you get was there one bit you didn't like, and then the rest of the film you were like, oh god?
I don't think.
What do you think of the film?
I really disliked it, and I seem to be in the vast minority on this one, because all the people I've seen online who said they've compared it to how much they loved Interstellar in terms of sci-fi, not as a film, because it is nowhere near the same as a good film. However, it's 50,000 budget, so it can't be anywhere near that. But I mean, that's opinion, but I don't think. Anyway, I didn't like the film, but the sci-fi sort of aspect, I can see why some people who love maybe the sort of theoretical quantum physics would love it and stuff, and I can see that. It wasn't. I didn't dislike it because I thought that it was a bad concept, or that I thought I think the technical side of things put me off, and then the first 20 minutes, like you say, when you get through them, I was like, oh, for the love of God. And then I started to pick up, because that asteroid, when they go outside and then freaky shit stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. What's happening? What's going to happen? Then they go outside and the asteroid's breaking up, and you're like, ooh, that's creepy. And then from that point, I think, okay, so I used to do acting classes, as you can tell. I used to do acting classes, and we used to do these exercises where it was like, okay, here's the story, Connell. A rat runs into the room, go. And then everyone has to fucking make up a story around this, and everyone has to make up a play around it. The film felt like that to me in terms of, because you'd have these bits where people were butting in. It's like, what happened? Oh, there's a rat running in the room. Okay, why did the rat run into the room? What happened? And then everyone starts talking over each other, and it just becomes this jumbled mess of okay, right, oh, I know you're all panicking and freaking out, and I know that's the whole point of the thing was that.
I feel like it would be like that in real life, though.
Yeah, well, exactly. I know Connell was saying
I've got a good idea why this is happening. You're like, no, that's fucking stupid.
Exactly, and Connell said this last night when we were talking about it. He was saying that I feel that's good because it's real, and it feels like that's what people would be like. You would be talking over each other, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he'd be like, you don't talk to him like that, and then you'd be like, oh, fucking chill out. And
also, they're drunk as well.
Exactly, yeah. So they're drunk, they're high. Yeah, it's fine. They're drunk, they're high, and all that sort of shit. And it's like, okay, I get that. And looking back like that, I should probably give that another go in that term. But I think because I lived through that acting experience of doing that sort of thing. I'm not saying I lived through. I went through that acting experience that I felt like I could feel the amateurishness of it. But they're all great actors, and the actual performances themselves are great and everything. I don't think it gripped me.
Were you scared?
No, I had to watch. This is the thing. We talked about Midsummer, and I'm not going to talk about it now, but we talked about Midsummer, and we all agreed pretty much that if you have to explain to your audience, if you make your film so confusing that you have to you have to look at your audience and go, did you get that? Did you get the little thing that I did there? I think that's pretentious. However, with this one, I think people got it, but I was just so I don't get it. I had to look up what the very end sort of meant in terms of she's looking for the best reality to live in.
Yeah, she's looking for one where the power cut didn't go off, so no one went outside.
Yeah,
and the dog in the book yet.
I didn't quite get that, but I felt like I was. Have you ever played those games where it's you go through a dream sequence every so often. Like the normal game's happening, and then suddenly it goes boom, you're in a dream sequence, and you're like having to do this weird like sort of experimental.
Like Far Cry, where you get to take drugs and shit.
Yeah, and
it's
like
what is going
here's a weird symbolic thing happening, and you've got to like navigate through that, and then it goes back into the game. That's what the film felt like to me. It was like, okay, and here's this happening now. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I've got to watch it again because you've watched it like what fucking 80 times. You've watched it 4 times or something.
3 times.
I thought that was really cool, that bit, because it's like this. She's going through all the dark spot, which is like which takes you to random realities. So she's seeing like how it could have gone. So she sees, you know, they're all tied up. The drunk guy's going mental.
Yeah.
You know, they're all they're all fighting. Some of them are dead. Like, it's just, she got lucky with her reality because it never absolutely hit the fucking like roof. But I thought when you said that, do you think they were too kind of pretentious about this is clever, or were you saying that they sort of weren't pretentious enough about it?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was too. I don't know. It felt like sort of they were not writing the science as they weren't. That's a weird thing to say. It felt like they were just like too caught up on the science of it. Whereas some films, you go, that's too up to. It was in this weird realm where I couldn't work out if I was watching something that was too scientific or if it was too clever for me. I think it was just too clever for me personally. I was just like, there's something I'm not getting. And I get really frustrated. This is just me personally again. I get really frustrated when someone's explaining something and I don't quite get it. I mean, maybe that's just some condition I have. Maybe I have like fucking...
Oh, no, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they move forward and like expecting you to get it. And you're like, wait, what?
Wait, what? Let's go back there. And if it's like everyone else gets it and I'm like, oh, Jesus, does that mean I'm a complete moron? And it's not the film's fault for making me feel stupid because it didn't make me feel stupid. I felt stupid trying to understand it. And when I read, I actually enjoyed, in retrospect, a lot more reading up the little things. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what that was. But I think the camera work threw me off quite a bit, and that's not an excuse to go, oh, so because you couldn't see something completely in focus, the film was terrible.
It is, though.
It takes you out of it because like you're like, focus on something, and the camera was just moving all the time, and I was like, okay, just have a tripod shot for one shot, please. But it felt too, I don't know. It works in stuff like 24. I know, again, budget. Like where
I think it was trying to be dreamy, you know, and like is it bokeh? Is that what it's called? With all the sort of like weird lighting and all the dots and stuff.
And I'm sure that's like the artistic choice they went for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Niall, how do you feel about the film?
Yeah, I thought it was like fantastic. I thought it was like a really like exclusive experience when I first saw it within. I hadn't really had an experience like that. Cool. It really freaked me out. The general concept of you're against yourself, and the thing of the more I think about it, the more I kind of like feel that down my spine, because when you think of an idea of how to get them, they've thought of an idea something similar, or if something's a little bit different, it sets your mind off because of the alternate reality things. It sets your mind off on 1,000 different ways that really freak me out. I really get scared. I totally got the impact of it. The 50k thing and the way it was shot, honestly, like.
Do you remember the bit that really scared you?
Holy fuck, the bit with the car.
Yeah.
What part?
It was, do you want to say it?
Yeah, you go.
It was, so the woman speaks to her boyfriend at the car, and she's getting her ring.
Where the key
or something. I think she's getting a ring.
It's ring.
Yeah, and then either he goes back inside or whatever, and then her boyfriend comes out again, and he's like, he says, what are you looking for or something? And she's like, he should already know that. And she kind of looks at him, and he's giving her this weird look, and you just think, oh shit, it's a different boyfriend. Which is amazing, because like, that's a scare that isn't a jump scare. It's really fucking tense. It doesn't require any special effects, anything like that. And it's really original. And then, he kind of just slowly walks back in the shadows, and you just get shivering.
That's horrible.
Fuck me.
You're taking the things that you feel comfortable with and making them like really scary. That's brilliant.
Well, I love that in certain horror films where they don't rely on a jump scare and they don't do that sort of stuff. It's right there, like the sort of familiar feeling, like a family member, like say you saw like your mum at the end of a hallway, and you're like, oh, what are you doing? And she doesn't respond, and you're like,
yeah, and then like you hear your mum from behind.
Why?
Yeah, and you're
like don't go up there. Too real. I think that they did that aspect of things really well. Maybe I just need to rewatch it again.
I think we should all watch it together.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again.
I also liked it, when
End of podcast.
you kind of think that you know what's going on, and then they say that two of the guys work out that actually only two of them are the original people, because they're the only ones that stayed in, that haven't left the house. So you're initially thinking like, oh, who's the intruder? Then you realize they're sort of all intruders.
But they don't realize it because they
they don't realize it, and they're kind of not bad guys, the intruders, because they are just themselves. But like, you don't know what they would do to either stay in this safe reality or
I don't know the guy. I can't remember all the guys. The guy who's drunk. He's like, I'm just gonna go over there and kill myself. Like, so he doesn't, because everything he's thinking, he can do.
Yeah, like bribe himself.
Yeah. He's like, that's why he bribes himself.
Send him a letter.
The letter comes under. The letter comes under the door, and it's so creepy.
That was
not a well thought out
horror.
plan.
See that bit? Like, I can say so many moments in this where I literally was just like, every time, like, I had to take a step back. See the bit where he's writing the letter out?
Yeah,
and
writing
the guy gets
on the door. Oh my god.
The bit where he gets the letter and he's like, you slept with my wife, and then like he gets hit in the face and everyone leaves the room for a second, and then someone just randomly walks in and goes, I'll have that, and like walks out the room. Like, she grabs something off the floor, because she's sneaking around the whole time. And then
No, it's someone who comes in the front door and grabs it.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, because the front door grabs it and walks out. I was like, I don't know why that bit got me. I was like, no, don't do that. It's like, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. That freaked me out.
The bit as well where they all see the silhouettes of themselves, and then they just start fucking
with
running
the
in
red.
different ways. You're like, oh my god.
And the part where like they all like start realizing that they're not in their own, like when they're like, what was in your box? He's like, a napkin.
The photos.
Yeah, and then
I bought this sweater tonight.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, and you see like the stapler, and it's like, nope, we had this.
You know when?
We had this
Oh
the
my
whole time.
god.
You know when Amir and I can't remember the
The
guy's
big
name.
bearded
Yeah, but
guy.
like, you know when they stole the box and then everyone started realizing, and then they had to like, right, we've got to create and identify it. And then I was like, it's just gonna be like a full circle now where they do the identifying box.
Yeah.
Like, she got the picture, she cuts it in half, and it feels like it's like all exactly the same.
See, surely that's an alternate reality that we're now watching, because they would have just been like, oh, we're doing the exact same as what happened earlier.
That's what.
Oh no, they do say that though.
Do they?
Yeah. They just know that they have to do it, so they're basically not making a big deal out of it. Because she's like, oh yeah, it's the same, but not exactly the same. With a picture of him.
Yeah, like she's looking at like, and they have to have like identifying features such as like the number on the back of the photo, and also like the random object in the box.
The black cuts, like they're alternate. I'm presuming that's.
I thought you said something else.
That's them. Sorry,
I was like, holy shit.
What? That's them
cutting a different reality.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's cool.
I never actually thought that.
Like first time we watched it when it happened,
Did you
like
say that?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those films that. Okay, so I wouldn't say I was bored per se, but I was sort of like, I think because if I get like frustrated with something I don't understand, I don't get bored of it, but I'm like, I get angry at myself, and then I'm like, nah, I can't watch. But like I stuck with it. Obviously, finished watching it, and I wasn't bored by it, but I felt like the similar thing you must have felt during Midsummer, where I was like, I'm not quite either enjoying or getting this. No, you got Midsummer, I know that, but do you know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, is this one of those films you need to rewatch to not get, but to get.
I understand what you mean, yeah.
But at the same time, like, why should I? Like, I didn't enjoy it the first time.
Yeah, is it worth?
This feels more like I missed something pivotal at some point. Like, in terms, I don't mean I didn't watch it, but I mean I just didn't get it and didn't click with me. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll go, that makes sense watching it now this time, sort of thing. I think I would have got the same experience going to an escape room and having a bad acid trip. In terms of like, you're having to solve a puzzle and you're like, how the hell do I get out of this room? Okay, right, there's 7 keys and they're all US presidents, and I have to put them in order of their favorite fucking food. And I was like, what?
Oh, okay.
Like, that sort of like,
I think I know.
That's
like,
what it felt like.
You had to get past, like, to understand it all, you had to understand the first thing, and then maybe that was the part you never got, so you couldn't get to the other parts without understanding this key part.
It's like being in a class and someone's like, okay, anyway, we're moving on. You're like, whoa, I didn't get that first bit. And they're like,
it's pretty much me in the editing class.
So from that point on, everyone's like blistering ahead, and you're like, I am.
Did you watch it on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say I don't think I've ever seen it on my own.
I
was
watched
watching it with myself.
I watched it on
There's
my
like
own.
3 alternate realities of me watching.
The best thing to do in that film, I think, is
It's terrible.
when a confusing bit happens, wait
Call
a
your
little
mum.
bit more, then talk to the person next to you and try and sort of work it out together, because then you realise that you both have different opinions of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like fun, because oh, I want to be right. Oh, no, I want to be right. And then it'll keep going. You'll have more information thrown at you, and you're like, it's like a kind of fever dream, the film. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're like sort of like everyone trying to work out what's going on.
Yeah, and if you started watching it and didn't like it, and then never got out of the headset that you didn't like it. No, sorry. Is that double negative?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Then it'd be hard to get back into it.
Yeah.
Did you just not like adapt to the like low budgetness of it all?
No, it wasn't even that. Like I've watched like really low budget shit. Like it had a similar look and feel to Creep. Not one of my favorite British horror movies, but the
Mark Duplass one.
Yeah, had a similar feel in terms of, I wouldn't say amateurishness, but like camera handheld sort of stuff.
Yeah,
it felt like a mixture of that.
It's supposed to be intimate. You're supposed to be right there on the table with them, I think.
But it felt like that and 24 mixed together. You know, like 24. I don't know if you've ever seen 24.
The TV show.
No. Yeah, but there's like a certain shots that they do, like sort of Jack's on the phone and he's like, "We need to do such and such," and they'll have like a moment where the camera is like down 6 corridors, looking through a tiny. Oh, sorry, 6 corridors looking through like a tiny little gap. Okay, and then you can sort of see the character. And I thought that's what this film kind of did, but when I started to when I watched, like, I read the explanations of it, and realized that it was probably the woman looking through the window for some of these shots. It was like a point of view of like she's looking through the window. When you realize that the alternate realities of like people looking through windows is just her or one of the other characters looking through at them, I started to sort of look back and go, okay, that was actually kind of cool the way they did that.
Yeah.
But I've got to like rewatch it again, I guess.
Do you think they could have had a more interesting main character? Because see if it was like someone who sort of would do anything to survive, which I know this girl did, and killed herself or drugged herself or something.
Yeah, she
I don't know.
herself out in the bathroom.
Like maybe if it was the drunk guy.
What is the ending?
I think that if he was the main character and it's him like going through all the realities, trying to get a good one, and then it's a bit longer though, and he goes into one and he realizes it's more fucked up.
I think.
Or would that just be a different
reckon
film?
he's making the worst choices of anyone there. So for him to be your main character,
oh
fair
enough. Hard to
Which
root
guy?
for as well.
the drunk.
The guy in Buffy.
Xander. Xander from
by the
Buffy.
way, right, what do you guys see about the ending? Right, where like she like puts the girl in the bathtub, right, and then at the end the guy picks up the phone. He's like, "Oh, it's your number," and then he's like,
"Yeah, I didn't like that ending."
Because I was like,
"Nah,
where is she in the bathtub?
The call was coming from within the house.
She escaped.
Yeah. So then, what did she just like phone her later on?
Why would she escape and just run?
Yeah, like
she'd be like, "Guys."
She'd be in the house.
Unless because she saw herself, maybe she's like, "Who the fuck can I trust here?" sort of thing, and just.
Yeah, but they didn't have any of the shit happen.
Yeah. Who can I trust? I'll ring the guy I don't trust.
Actually, she didn't even know anything was going on.
Like,
so
why
it'd be
would
like
she
going
leave
to a
the
dinner
house?
party, then suddenly getting knocked out. I don't know. Maybe she ran to the police, told them everything, then they would phone someone.
Is she like a very good runner? Fucking running the police. Like, why would you know it's called?
I don't know how far the police
Also, she
station
definitely left the bathroom because they.
Yeah, like the
older
woman was
lasses
having
in
a
the-
shower. Yeah.
No, she just worked around her. Oh, sorry.
She's
Sorry.
like hiding while she's taking it.
It felt like the ending to one of like a student film. Like
It was trying to be too
like,
snappy. Do you not think?
It was trying
too
to be like, oh damn, like
yeah, didn't like the ending
when
at
it
all.
zoomed into his face, kind of like, and him be like looking at her like, oh no, what, like she's not the real one.
I love
There's
that we're
two.
saying that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, he's like, she sounds like you, because I have no idea that those alternate
He was
realities.
like,
Oh yeah.
his first thought was like, threesome.
Holy shit.
One of the worst characters in it, you know, the black-haired woman that's trying to like seduce the guy.
What, the one with the glasses?
I found her unbearable.
No, Laurie. Yeah.
I just when people are supposed to be sexy and they're just not, I find it cringy.
Did she start undressing at the end? At one of the points, I swear I saw it. Like she started taking off the dress, and I was,
Maybe
I was
in my
confused.
mind.
Well, she tries to seduce the guy in the
Yeah.
corridor.
No, but like there's a part where like you know when they start like punching each other.
Yeah.
Two of the guys, right?
She starts undressing.
I swear.
The
Right.
fuck? She's getting ready to throw
She's
down.
like, she's like, fuck this, taking all of her jewelry
Tops
off.
You get out. I liked her. I thought she looked the part. I thought she looked like a real fucking like person you'd see in the street. Not like on the street with a cup.
As in, like, if she was too hot, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it's like,
work.
nah. They all looked pretty well cast.
Maybe she just gets turned on by violence.
Maybe I'm
Table.
completely wrong, but I was so confused as
What?
well. I'm trying to find the part. I don't even know when they start fighting.
Watching Coherence led me down this like rabbit hole of confusing as fuck movies. So I watched. Have you guys seen Primer?
No.
Primer, the time
time
travel.
travel film.
Holy fuck, that's a...
If there's
Watching that followed by that, you'd be freaking out.
Who's
Oh
in
my
it? I feel like
God.
I've heard of it.
no one you've ever heard of. It's
quite a low
it's the
budget
kind of film that if you understand it, you need like a degree in fucking quantum physics.
Apparently they actually went through
that.
it like mathematically.
Cuts to
and
Scott
stuff.
Lawson on the front cover of Time magazine.
It's like people that make a time machine and then they don't make a time machine, but they themselves have made a time machine, so they can watch their progress of the time machine while also trying to create.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's meant to be one of the most complicated mathematical movies apparently ever made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is the director some sort of scientist or something?
I think one of them was something like
There's the
a
part that
mathematical PhD or some shit. Not
Really?
PhD, but I don't think you can get a doctor. Can you get a PhD in maths?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
Clearly, this is why I didn't understand Coherence, because I don't know if you can get a PhD in maths.
That could be like a Good Will Hunting movie where
What?
some guy, like a random guy, like completely understands primer.
But he's a complete like illiterate
Like Jana.
Right,
yeah.
Guys,
Okay, hang on. Yeah, what the fuck?
what the fuck is she doing?
Oh no, she's like get it off, isn't she?
Get what off? What's she got on her?
Okay, I don't know. You don't have to
No, she's clearly like, get it off. What's on her? I don't know.
go
Look.
turn it up because you.
Well, yeah, no, I've
Copyright.
no, I've not got no volume. That's why, because we're in the
Oh,
podcast.
right.
But
Oh, fuck it.
We can edit this bit out, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like, are we all going deaf here?
Maybe she just had a nude scene in her contract.
Okay, so here we go. Here's a fight scene. We're currently watching a fight scene where, for some reason,
the guy
woman
creeps
takes
in.
the
That's the
top off.
part.
Oh, yeah. Mike, right?
Oh, he beats the shit out of himself. Yeah, I love that bit.
Straight off the cast of Love Island.
Yeah. It was me. Oh, she goes to take her top off to get the for his blood, doesn't she?
Oh, is she bleeding
Oh,
on her? She
yeah.
bleeds on
Like
her, right?
to give her something to cover it up with.
This is like one of those rip your sleeve
Wait.
off for a bandage.
What the? Or she's just freaking out.
Must just be.
Okay, that's
But
weird.
like, that's what you
That's
know what I mean though.
strange.
Like she's
How the fuck not remember that?
Yeah.
The director's
Wow.
like,
Didn't
right,
no one notice that?
the motivation for this scene is you get your tits into the shot. She's like, what's the... No.
Quiet.
Just let's go with it. See what happens.
Did your mum like this film?
Oh, she really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did. She totally.
Okay,
She
yeah.
enjoyed the experience of trying to figure out shit. And she was. I'd obviously already seen it at that point, but she was like, ooh, la la la, scooba-da, like giving me suggestions of what she thought was happening.
Oh, like she got into it then. She
Oh,
was like,
totally.
Oh,
She
I
was
think
well
it might be
into
this.
it.
I think it might be that. Okay.
She was fucking like,
She's quite a good film lover though, isn't she?
Yeah.
In conclusion, after that weird jump cut edit that you just heard there, Finn, conclusion, how did you rate and feel about the film? Coherence.
I actually, before we had this conversation, would have called it quite divisive.
Okay.
Because I know that you didn't like it.
Okay.
Also, I watched it with one guy in the past that didn't like it, but I don't think he was really paying that much attention. But now, after this chat, I would say that because the majority
Yeah.
enjoy it, and you've said you've read it online, and that people are saying they liked it and stuff
Yeah,
as well. So, yeah, I mean, my opinions about it haven't really changed, apart from I now realize more people like it than I thought they did. I'm surprised it's not bigger. It's on every single Reddit subreddit as one of those mindfuck movies that you need to watch that people are getting bored of being posted.
Try and watch it on YouTube before they take it down because the whole the whole thing's up.
Yeah, really good, worth a watch, really short. You have to be invested. Don't put it on in the background and watch it with other people, I would say.
don't have Degus in the room when you watch it.
I would give it a 9 out of 10. Actually,
Oof. Damn.
8.5, 9 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. Now, young Nazza, how do you
Yeah, I agree. Thought it was fantastic. You can get into like the little details about here or there, how it was made or how cheap it looks, but the actual experience is really what you come away with, and it was one of a kind. I said to you earlier, I would give it a 9 out of 10, and I think talking to more people, it definitely seems more accessible for a film that's really strange and low budget. So
Okay.
definitely.
Young Connell.
I'm pretty much on the same point as Finn and Niall. I really enjoyed it. I'd probably give it as well a 9 out of 10. Up there, I think. Just like
8.75.
Nice.
But like you gotta like push yourself past the start. Like I don't think it was unbearable, but you're like I don't know. I was being told like it gets better after like 20 minutes, so I am kind of waiting for like the 20 minutes to pass.
Yeah.
So like when you're watching it, like
It's a
be
slog.
aware of that. Like, but it does get much like the second like the whole power cut thing, and it went. I think I was pretty much hooked when like the knocking on the door thing happened, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
that's probably when I
Scary
got, like, and I was just like try to decipher the whole thing while watching it as well, and it's I don't know, it was an experience as Niall said.
Yeah.
And that,
Rating out of 10, I'd have to give it a question mark out of 10. Like now, at this moment, at the initial time after I watched it, 2. Like,
Can I ask one thing just before you say that?
Yeah.
Do you think if we hadn't recommended it, or I hadn't recommended it, you'd heard maybe, I don't know, some random dude online say, oh, maybe watch this, and you watched it with someone else, you would have enjoyed it more, like, rather than me saying for months, let's watch this film, let's watch this film, let's watch this film.
I don't know. I mean, that's a hard one. I think
Overhyping sometimes makes it worse.
I think if I've just organically just found it and watched it with someone and discussed it going on, I either would have come to two conclusions, I would have come to two things. I would have gone, this is fucking boring, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
Or I would have maybe bounced the ideas off someone, what the hell's going on here? Oh, well, that's clearly happening. And then maybe someone could have explained it, like, this bit, what they thought was happening. I was like, So I think, it probably would have been better seeing it first time with someone. I don't think you hyping it or doing whatever sort of ruined the experience at all. Because you didn't go, it's amazing, watch it. You were like, it's quite an interesting film, watch it. Like, you sort of, you're neutral with films, you don't give, like,
I thought...
okay.
I don't think
Yeah,
you were
like
like
that,
overhyping it. Like, you did seem like like you
were,
really
like,
enjoyed it,
your
but you were like,
Okay.
nah, it's a trippy film. Like, it's definitely worth what you were pretty much. That's what I think.
But as of right now, a question mark out of 10 because I don't know how I feel about it. Knowing what I know now, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more, but then I would have ruined it. So, ironically, I'm caught in the quantum realm of not knowing how I feel about this film because it was knowing something later that helped earlier, which is bizarre. I've never had that with a film. So I should really rate it like 9 out of 10 in terms of...
for making you think.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, I fucked with my head so much. 10. Okay, so outros are for absolute amateurs, apparently. So just saying thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some insights, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.